I had the best marriage in the whole world for 14 years, and I'm very comfortable with the person I see in the mirror, so I'm okay to be on my own.
It shouldn't be sad. It should be a day to celebrate everything he stood for and that we're wanting to continue on with his good work.
Imagine living in the shadow of a legend, only to step into your own spotlight, with the world watching your every move. For Robert Irwin, this isn't just a story, it's his reality. His transformation has left his mother, Terry Irwin, overwhelmed with emotions, torn between pride and bittersweet memories of the past. But what exactly triggered this deeply personal moment that brought the resilient matriarch of the Irwin family to tears? Stay with us as we dive into a story of love, loss, and an unshakable legacy that continues to captivate the world. Terry Irwin has long been admired for her unwavering strength and dedication to preserving Steve Irwin's mission. But despite her resilience, nothing could prepare her for the unexpected twist in her son's journey. Robert's remarkable evolution from an adventurous child into a globally recognized wildlife advocate has come with moments that echo his father's legacy so powerfully. It's as if Steve himself is still guiding him. And for Terry, that realization is as heartwarming as it is heartbreaking. Steve Irwin, forever known as the fearless crocodile hunter, was a man who turned his passion for wildlife into a global movement. His infectious enthusiasm and boundless energy made conservation something exciting, something personal. But in 2006, his life was tragically cut short in a rare stingray accident, sending shockwaves across the world. For millions, it was a loss beyond comprehension, but for Terry, it was the end of a love story that had defined her entire world. "He wasn't just my husband," she once revealed, her voice thick with emotion. "He was my soulmate, my best friend." In the aftermath of Steve's passing, Terry made a decision that would define her life moving forward. She would not let his mission fade into memory. Instead, she poured herself into keeping his legacy alive, ensuring that their children, Bindi and Robert, grew up not only remembering their father, but continuing his work. But as time went on, it became clear that Robert was more than just the son of Steve Irwin. He was stepping into his own as a force for conservation. And that shift brought a wave of emotions that Terry never saw coming. Robert, who was only 2 when his father passed, has grown up in the heart of Australia Zoo, surrounded by wildlife and a family devoted to its protection. But something changed recently, something that made Terry look at her son and see, with breathtaking clarity, just how much of his father's spirit lives on in him. It wasn't just in the way he spoke about animals or the way he handled a crocodile, it was in his very essence. And then came the moment that truly broke Terry's composure. During a live demonstration at Australia Zoo, Robert fearlessly handled a massive crocodile with a confidence and ease that was eerily reminiscent of his father. The crowd gasped. Some even whispered Steve's name. And as Terry watched from the sidelines, she was hit with a wave of emotion so powerful that tears welled in her eyes. It was as if she was seeing Steve again, alive and thriving in the son they had raised together. "He's been doing this since he was 5, Terry later said, her voice cracking. But today felt different. For years, Robert had been carving his own path. His breathtaking wildlife photography, his advocacy work, his ability to command an audience just like his father had. But at that moment, he wasn't just Robert Irwin, the young conservationist. He was Steve's son, carrying forward a mission that had been tragically interrupted but never lost. The parallels between father and son are impossible to ignore. From his signature khakis to his fearless interactions with wild animals, Robert embodies the same spirit of adventure that made his father a household name. But while he honors Steve's legacy, he also brings something uniquely his own to the world of conservation. Unlike Steve, who thrived in the television spotlight, Robert has embraced wildlife photography as his primary medium. His stunning images have earned international acclaim, drawing attention to endangered species and the urgent need for conservation. His work isn't just about showcasing the beauty of nature, it's about making people care enough to protect it. And that's what makes Terry's emotion so raw. Seeing Robert step into his own, while still feeling the presence of Steve in every move he makes, is a testament to the strength of their family's mission. It's a reminder that while loss is painful, love and passion can transcend even death. But Robert's journey isn't without challenges. Growing up in the public eye, constantly being compared to a father he barely got to know, comes with immense pressure. Yet, instead of running from it, Robert embraces it. He doesn't just want to be like his dad, he wants to expand on what Steve started, using modern tools and new platforms to reach even more people. And it's working. His social media presence is booming, his wildlife documentary. As Terry watches her son transform before her eyes, she's filled with a complex mix of emotions: pride, joy, sadness, but most of all, hope. Because through Robert, Steve's mission is not only alive, it's thriving in ways even he might never have imagined. And just when you think this story couldn't get any more emotional, there's an even bigger revelation about Robert's next move, one that could change everything. Stay tuned, because what's coming next might just be the most unexpected chapter yet. Just when you think Hollywood couldn't get any more unpredictable, another bombshell drops. This time, it's Robert Irwin who has stunned fans worldwide. Once known as the shy, wide-eyed child growing up in the shadows of his legendary father, Steve Irwin, Robert has now stepped into his own spotlight. But his latest achievement? It's not just another wildlife conservation win, it's a wake-up call to the world. And trust me, you won't believe the impact it's already making. Robert's breathtaking wildlife photography has always been more than just pictures. It's a message, a desperate call for action. But one image, in particular, sent shockwaves through the global conservation community. In 2020, his hauntingly beautiful capture of a fire-ravaged forest wasn't just a piece of art, it was a brutal reality check. The charred trees, the ghostly embers, the silent devastation. It spoke louder than any words ever could. The image earned him recognition in the prestigious Wildlife Photographer of the Year competition, but more than that, it ignited conversations worldwide about climate change and environmental destruction. Who would have thought that one photograph could shake the world like this? But Robert's influence doesn't stop at photography. Every single day, he's out in the field, rolling up his sleeves, rescuing wildlife, and pushing conservation efforts forward. At the Australia Zoo, he's not just a figurehead, he's on the front lines. From saving injured animals to groundbreaking research on crocodiles, Robert is proving that he's not just following in his father's footsteps, he's forging his own path. And that's what makes his journey even more powerful. Speaking of family, let's talk about the woman who's been his rock through it all, Terry Irwin. For years, she's balanced being a mother, a conservationist, and the keeper of Steve's legacy. But now, watching Robert rise to the challenge, it's stirring emotions she never expected. Pride, joy, and yes, a tinge of sadness. It's like watching Steve all over again, she's confessed in interviews. But here's the thing. Robert isn't just a carbon copy of his father. He's taking what Steve started and turning it into something uniquely his own. And that's what makes his story so gripping. One moment that left even the most skeptical viewers in awe? Robert's appearance on The Tonight Show. Just like his father before him, he confidently handled wild animals, educating audiences with an infectious enthusiasm. But for Terry, that moment was more than just TV gold. It was a full-circle moment, a sign that Robert wasn't just carrying his father's torch, he was lighting a new one. It was Steve standing there again, she admitted, choking back tears. But there was also something undeniably Robert about it, a new energy, a fresh perspective, a determination to make an impact in his own way. And let's not forget his sister, Bindi. The bond between these two is unbreakable, and together, they're ensuring the Irwin legacy not only survives, but thrives. During Australia's devastating bushfires, the siblings led efforts to rescue nearly 1 million animals. Imagine that. While the world watched in horror, they stepped up, taking action when it mattered most. If that doesn't prove their dedication, what does? But here's where things take an even more surprising turn. Robert isn't just focused on wildlife, He's inspiring a movement. His social media presence has skyrocketed, and his stunning photography is drawing millions into the conservation conversation. This isn't just about saving animals anymore. It's about changing mindsets. And if there's one thing we know, it's that Robert Irwin is just getting started. So, what do you think? Has Robert Irwin carved out a legacy of his own? Or do you still see the echoes of his father in everything he does? Let us know in the comments. And if you loved this deep dive into Hollywood's latest and greatest, don't forget to like and subscribe.